Hello.
Okay, class, basically we are still in the great vehicle and we are in the sixth pyramid. We already finished number 1 is the precept pyramid. Second is the precept pyramid. Number 3rd one is the patience pyramid. Number 4th is the vigorous pyramid. Now we're in the number 5, number 5th. We're in the 5th, which is a samadhi concentration pyramid. In the concentration pyramid, in the previous lesson, we just finished recollection of the Buddha and also, the Anapanasati. Okay, now we go to encounter all the hindrances. Okay, basically the hindrances is quite similar with the three vehicle, but just put a different name on it. So let's take a look, class. Okay, so in the previous lesson, we are talking about what? Let me check for it first. So in the previous lesson, it's about the breathing. So in the previous lesson, we talked about that. The real, if you really experience the right way of the breathing, it should be refined and long. Okay, you shouldn't force yourself. Okay, and you will feel, the breathing is very long, but it shouldn't, if let's say it appears the nimitta, hallucination of light, form, and sound, okay, regarding this, there is a controversy issue because some school they recognize the nimitta, some they don't recognize the nimitta. I remember in previous lesson we talked about that. Then besides, let's take a look. It's about one thing. It shouldn't sound like the wind and should also not resemble gasping. The real anapanasati are supposed to be like this. Okay. And the real anapanasati, you should feel the breath is subtle, closely connected, even and long. So now we go to the verse number 154. Yeah, Sally, can you please read it loud, Sally?
Realizing the presence of torpor or restlessness with right knowledge stop the mind from being scattered. Having used right mindfulness to collect the mind and reach the stage of calm abiding on the objects of focus, one should use right knowledge to exterminate the faults of torpor or restlessness. Restlessness, a form of desire, is an attachment to certain enjoyable states. One mind feels uncomfortable and this leads to become scattered. Torpor, an aspect of ignorance, is physical and mental lethargy. Torpor leads to a subtle decrease in the strength of the mind's ability to concentrate on the object of focus. When one is initially practicing, the major faults, scattered thoughts, and torpor are detected easily. These obvious faults are not what is being discussed here. What needs to be explained here is the subtle torpor and restlessness, which one should realize after one's mind has calmly abide on the focus of the object of focus. If one is unable to recognize this or mistakes them for stabilizing power of concentration, one's practice will stagnate. On the contrary, after some time, one may regress. This is very important. If while practicing, one feels that the image is unstable or unclear, or that one's mental power is weak and unable to make noticeable progress, this is clear evidence of the presence of subtle torpor or restlessness. As long as right mindfulness is calmly in place, there is a continuous mindfulness and close attention, right knowledge can arise. This enables one to realize that torpor or restlessness have arisen or are about to arise. One can then stop the mind from being scattered.
Okay. Yeah. To finish, the mind from being scattered. Okay, yes. Set it off the mic, please. Yeah, Mr. Leong Tama, please, once you finish, okay? Mr. Leong, you can thumb up in Zoom. Yeah, thank you so much. Okay. Okay, class, take a look. We talk about restlessness and the stopper. You see, restlessness is an attachment to certain enjoyable states. Well, this is a very good definition. Class, basically, once we talk about restlessness, it means what? It means our mind cannot really focus in one place, right? So the mind always scatter and scatter. We keep on changing the subject. Basically, there's two ways of the restlessness. Number one, you don't keep on, you don't change the object, but you just have one object, but you just keep on within the object. For example, like Elena, maybe if let's say your restlessness is in your job, so the mind is always planning for the job, maybe regret over the job, maybe think everything. So we call it the restlessness with one object, okay? But it's still restless is with one object. But if let's say your restlessness is keep on changing the object, meaning to say that Okay, in this moment, you think about your job. Next moment, you think about the market, what to cook. Okay, and then next moment, think about, okay, what to buy if you go out to the market. So you keep on changing the object. So there's two ways our mind perform. But no matter which one, all are very bad for meditation. No matter which one, all are bad. But in Buddhism psychology, we'll try to let you know, there's a difference. Because if let's say our mind is scattered, keep on, it's just in one object. Well, it's quite fulfill the definition for this class, you see. It's an attachment to a certain enjoyable state, you see. So this is quite fulfilled this. Whereas if a stopper meaning to say that your mind is very weak and the object is not very clear, your mind is very weak. And the stopper can be due to also like the injection for the vaccine. So Elena will say, oh, I just don't know why if you want to feel asleep. So that is the stopper, but it is not caused by, the mental problem. It's caused by the medicine problem. If let's say the stopper appeared, one thing is very clear is your image will become not very, your object for meditation is not very clear, and you feel lack of power. If restlessness meaning to say you can't focus also, but keep on changing. So through our previous experiment, it seems Sally can do quite well. I think your restlessness and the stopper is not very strong. Sally, for Sally. But Elena, because you say you claim that the object is not very clear, so meaning to say at that particular moment, sloth and torpor and restless involved at that particular time. Okay. But anyway, for Abhidhamma, if you need at least 4-stage Arahant in order to totally eradicate for both of it. 4-stage Arahant. But for the first jhana is strong enough to suppress both of it. So basically, for those who experience the first jhana or very close to it, they don't feel sloth and torpor and also restlessness. Okay. For the sloth and torpor, sometimes also involves some chi and energy. If you always a blockage in your meridian and the chakras, it can cause you stopper. You feel that you don't have much energy to do it. So you have to find out the problem why first. So Elena, if let's say you found that it seems your side effect is not what we know according to the SOP. Maybe Elena, you check already some blockage in the meridian or not, chakra. So you have to do other things to find out why it happens to you. Okay. So it's involved sloth and torpor. One thing you have to make sure you sit straight, because if the chi are unable to flow through your vertebra, it can easily cause a sloth and torpor also. And one thing, if you lost interest in certain thing, like if you don't like the study of Buddhism, you will feel sloth and torpor, also same. Whereas for restlessness, meaning to say that the mind is more agitated. Basically, if for Qigong, if your meridian is, they use the analogy to describe. They say once a person ride on the horse, if let's say the horse is a wild horse, it will influence the rider also. The rider is the heart, and the horse is the meridian. So for yoga and the Tibetan Buddhism, they will try to tame the horse instead to tame the rider. You know what I mean? These are different skills. So once you do Anapanasati, you are taming the rider rather than the horse, because when the rider is steady, so the horse will be tamed. But for yoga, they're different. They will try to tame the horse, because once the horse is tamed, then the rider also will be will be calmed down. So here basically we do the Qigong and we do the Anasati. Both method is very good because we consider two factors. Okay. So this is why how the restlessness could be tackled. Basically, when the restlessness appear, please don't try to analyze it. The more you analyze it, the more you ask why, the more restlessness it will incur. The way I see Elena, Mr. Leong, you prefer asking the question, it can create more. If you want to tackle the restlessness, just don't ask, because you just keep on in one object, then later on, it will just subside. Especially once you're breathing from your chest breathing, go to the abdominal breathing. Basically, abdominal breathing, it happens together with a calm mind. And the agitated mind basically comes together with the chest breathing. So for some yoga, they will try to change the breathing method from the chest breathing to the abdominal breathing, then the restlessness also will go. So this is a few things you can try to do. Yeah, Mr. Leong, any question? Yes.
Yeah, Sifu, through my experience and experiment, I think a balance of this Qigong and this what you call meditation is very suitable if this balance. We must find a balance.
Yeah. Why do you say so? You have some experience you would like to share?
Yes, I found it because the thing is, if I do meditation straight without any Qigong exercises, the quality of the meditation, no doubt, is okay, but it's not at the best. And likewise, if we do Qigong, but our mind is restless, also we do not have a good quality meditation.
Yeah, we need both together. So you see, Mr. Leong, according to the history of Buddhism, Tibetan Buddhism is the last one who tried to integrate the meridian Qigong with the Buddhism. So we understand why Tibetan Buddhism will appear in India. There must be some reason. You see, now we involve the meridian and the chakra. It's just some sort we have the elements of the Tibetan Buddhism already. We are not as pure as the traditional Buddhism. You understand what I mean, Mr. Leong? We are not that pure already. Because for original Buddhism, they don't involve any meridian and chakra. They don't involve uninvolved with this type of practice. So that's why we see the advantage why we integrate it together. But for them, the way they see us, they will label us not pure. We are not pure. Okay. Okay. Hey, there's slow motion. They will laugh after 3 seconds. Am I right? Sally, am I right? They will react after 3 seconds.
lacking.
Yes,
sloth and topper.
Yeah. Sloth and topper. The Wi-Fi is sloth and topper. Okay. So let's check. See what point I forget. So in order to avoid this, it's about the mindfulness. About the mindfulness. But here, basically, what we do it like that. A class, if let's say you are a sloth and topper, right? You have to pay attention to the subject, which is more upper part. Because if you concentrate in this part, the blood will flow out. So your restlessness, if a sloth or topper could be encountered. Because a sloth topper, partially the reason is due to, the blood circulation and the energy circulation. And likewise, if let's say you are restless, so you better put your concentration at the lower part of the body. You should concentrate at your feet, lower abdomen. So once you concentrate there, the blood won't flow up. Then, the restlessness will be reduced. So this is the skill you have to understand. This is the skill. You see, so no matter how, I think if you just chanting maybe one Buddha name only, I think not easy to success, because you see, we got a lot of skills and knowledge involved. I don't think it's that easy, except you are very ready and your samadhi is very strong, accumulated from the past life. Or for this life, you have to learn many things. And Mr. Leong, you have to learn more skills. Then you get the best result. Or it won't happen, just everything automatic like that. You have to learn, you see. Okay, so this is about restless and stopper. So if from a Buddhism's perspective, actually not much remedy, you see. You remember just now, Sally, when you read the text, not much remedy. He said you just be mindful. So how to be mindful? Not much thing, you see. So I have to bring back all the other relevant skills to make it, more practical. Okay, next paragraph, Elena, your turn to read, Elena.
155. To eliminate such problems and take action, one should not follow or be influenced by them. If after one has realized the presence of subtle stupor and restlessness, one lets it go and takes no action to deal with it because this is too difficult, one makes the mistake of not taking action. This mistake can be counteracted and eliminated only by thought. To think means to propel the mind and its attributes to do something, and in this case, it means using thought to eliminate stupor and restlessness. If the problems are not too serious, when the stupor arises, one can make one's mind alert and strong, or one can practice investigation. If restlessness arises, one slows down the mind or tries to focus calmly. Whether one is making one's mind alert or slowing it down in the course of one's practice of cessation or contemplation depends on the condition of the mind at a particular time. In this way, one can reach the state of equilibrium and the middle way. This can be compared to riding a horse. When the horse goes toward the left, one pulls it back towards the right and vice versa. The aim is to keep the horse in the middle. When the stupor or restlessness are serious and difficult, however, one should practice special methods. One can meditate on enjoyable, virtuous things such as brightness or body-mind. If restlessness is serious, one can meditate on offensive things such as impermanence. Then, after the stupor or restlessness is eliminated, one should follow one's original practice and abide calmly on the object of focus.
Thank you so much. Class, take a look, you see, here is the conclusion, is most important thing. Once the stopper and restlessness is eliminated, you should go back to your object. So meaning to say that the stopper and restlessness is the problem. The method we use is just like a Panadol. Once you have already eliminated all the symptoms, you are fine. So you have to stop taking the Panadol anymore. Just like meditation. If your major subject is Anapanasati, so you have to use other method to settle the slough and torpor. But once you settle the problem, you have to go back to your method. And according to the text is mentioned, he say, he suggests a method. Here, well, I don't really know how to use it. He say, if you are stopper restless, very serious, you can just meditate on the enjoyable and virtuous subject, such as the brightness of the body mind. How to meditate on body and mind, I don't know. But the enjoyable object, it could be, I think a recollection of the Buddha is one of the enjoyable objects. You just contemplate to the Buddha. And then one thing is, he say, if the restlessness is serious, you have to meditate on offensive things as per impermanence. Why do we say so? The reason is sometimes our mind is restless is due to we don't really understand the consequence of the impermanence. You see, sometimes we feel, you see, sometimes we are lazy. Sometimes it's due to the sloth and torpor, but sometimes it's due to we are lazy because we don't really alert and mindful to the danger and the impermanence. Okay, if the problem is due to we are not mindful to the, to the impermanence. So if you go to the hospital and you watch so many cases, people just very is about to die. So this will raise up your sense of the vigorous. So this is the one way we do. Of course, the more you see, you will feel nothing already. Right? Especially doctor and nurse. In the very beginning, they will always be stimulated by the anicca they watch. But I think now, I think basically they don't have any feeling already. In the beginning, maybe they will cry. Oh, it looks so sad. I think now they don't have any feeling anymore because the more you see, the more you feel nothing. Elena's the same. If you always watch the figure with the billion figure, you feel nothing with $1,000 only. Am I right? The more figure you see, you feel nothing already. Even though you don't possess it, but the more you see, you don't have feeling already. It's the same only. Okay. Yes, Elena. It is true. The big figure is more attractive to you. It is correct. Small figure, nothing already because you see so many already. You see. Yes, Mr. Lau, got questions?
Yes, Sifu. How come when one has this and restlessness, how can one enjoy and meditate on the brightness or nimitta?
Yeah. No. The brightness is not nimitta. The brightness is the contemplation of the light. Okay. Mr. Leung, do you see any bug or just or the sunlight? Do you see the sunlight outside in the window, Mr. Leung? Do you see?
Yes.
Okay. So
yes.
you just see the sunlight. Okay, class, if you see the light, you just you see the light and close your eye and let the light, the bright appear in your mind. So that is the contemplation to the bright. It's not
okay. That means it's not the brightness develop or arise from during meditation.
No. Because if a sloth and torpor, how can you got the nimitta? Basically, you don't have any nimitta.
That's why. That is precisely what I'm asking.
Yeah. If you got a nimitta, there should be the hallucination. Because your mind is restless, like Elena always skeptical whether you always think that I think my nimitta should be hallucination because you always think that I'm so lazy. How come nimitta can appear so easy, right? People are skeptical. We have to check whether it's a real or false nimitta. So a few things you can try to do. Elena, number one, you can try to meditate in a dark room. Okay, meditate in a dark room. Second, the real nimitta is stable, like a spotlight. Okay, and then the stages it happen. Number one, if from very blur go to the bright, from bright to the transparent. Okay, then finally it will integrate with your breath. So that is the real nimitta. If this is not the real nimitta, it's due to the healthy problem. Sometimes under blood pressure also can cause nimitta. Have you ever tried that? Because the blood cannot flow up, so you are able to see the light, or maybe you are low glucose, low oxygen. You can see the nimitta also. I tried that before. I tried that before. Low oxygen, low glucose also can nimitta a bit, but it's not the real one. I know that. Yeah, Mr. Leong. Yeah. You have on the mic. On the mic, please.
Oh.
Yeah.
How does one know that they are not in a hypnotic state or they are in jhana? Because it is a very thin between hypnotic state and jhana state. How to differentiate, how to experience?
Okay. Okay, can you tell me? What hypnotic state you mean? What does it mean? Hypnotic state.
Hypnotic state. Let's say, for example, if one person go to a psychiatrist, a doctor, help him to the patient to go down to the past to determine what causes maybe the frightening or things or what happened previously.
I know. Okay, Mr. Leong, basically, through the hypnotic way, it won't arise the nimitta. Because the way the nimitta arise, according to the meditation, it will begin from an object. Okay, you are very clear to your object. And then the object start have a transformation, all right? In hypnotic, if you see the light, it wouldn't be stable one. And actually hypnotic, a lot of image appeared, but basically the light one is very few. The way I see Mr. Leong, you can seldom see a stable nimitta appear in the hypnotic way. I don't think so. Even though it's a hallucination, the brain problem, the light is not stable one. Basically, the one with the schizophrenia, they will see maybe Guan Yin talk to them, or maybe this type of image or this type of noise sounds, rather than a stable nimitta. Okay. So Mr. Leong, no need to worry. Basically, the brain malfunction can hardly perform a stable nimitta as meditation. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, welcome. Okay, 156. Yes, Elena, are you okay? Is this enough? SOP for you to check you got the real nimitta instead of a lazy nimitta. Is this enough? Enough, you got to check by yourself. Okay. So next, let's take a look. 156. I think maybe Sally read because Mr. Leong light is not very good.
When these problems have been overcome, simply practice straightforwardly, and thus to avoid the mistake of using too much effort. When one practices to the point of eliminating stupor and restlessness, one's mind will be even and straightforward. Without exerting too much effort, one should then allow the mind to progress in equanimity. When in equanimity, one does not exert excessive effort, but lets the mind move freely, evenly, and straightforwardly. This can be compared to someone riding a horse. If the horse does not pull towards the left or the right, one should loosen the rein and allow it to go straight. If one holds the reins too tightly, the horse will move back and forth from one side to the other because of the discomfort. Practicing cessation works in the same way. If the mind has settled down and one continues to take action for the sake of preventing stupor and restlessness, one only makes the mind scattered. One should practice equanimity to temper one's effort during this stage. This equanimity is the eighth cutting action. It can exterminate the fifth fault, that is of action. Practicing in this way, one will also attain concentration.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, class, the last one is equanimity. Equanimity, you need to say that do nothing. If let's say your mind is without scatter and also without the stopper, just do nothing. Oh, okay. It's just like we ride a bicycle before. Okay, in the very beginning, sometimes we will fall to the right, sometimes we will fall to the left. Am I right? Or if we are not very familiar. But once we are familiar, so we just do nothing. Or you just ride and you go very balanced. Okay. For those who are inexperienced, sometimes they don't know that they are in the equanimity. They should do nothing. If let's say you are already in equanimity and you still assert a lot of effort, then you will be getting restless. Okay, just like you ride a bicycle, it's very stable already, but you pull very strong, then you easily feel tired already. You cannot last long. Put too much effort. The holding the handle. So that is the meaning of equanimity. In the daily life, it happen, you know. So I remember I watched one YouTube. The guy teach people how to play the guitar. He said. So the guy said, well, it is common that for the beginner, they play guitar until all the finger hurt and also very painful. The reason why is because they use too much effort. Actually, for you, just play the how to say, just play with the string. You just need a very little effort only. But people in the beginning, they don't know, so they use very strong effort. So end up all the finger feel very painful. So for those who are expert, they just no need to use much effort, just a little bit only. They can play a good music and can be sustainable for a long time. You see, for meditation, it's the same. You must be able to know, oh, you are in the equanimity, so don't put too much effort at that time. So this is the last one, equanimity. So until now, we already finished all the problem already. Sloth and torpor, equanimity. So in the very beginning, we have already tackled two more problems. So we need a mindfulness, okay? So by tackle all the problem, now we go to the 8 stages, 9 stages. We call it as this. So this is the very unique for the meditation, the 9 abiding mind. Okay, a 9 abiding mind. After the 9 abiding mind, you are about to reach to the first jhana. 9 abiding mind is a very good theory. I think it's just very specific. You can get it in my text of me to show that how our mind from a very scattered state and then gradually go to a very concentrated state. Okay. So now who's turn to read? Elena, right? Please. The 9 abiding mind.
The 9 abiding minds. Inward abiding and continuous abiding. Calm abiding and abiding nearby. Harmonized abiding and quietude. Followed by supreme quietude. Single-pointed concentration. And maintaining equanimity without action. These methods of cessation taught by the sages are the 9 stages of mental abiding. From collecting the mind in the beginning stages of practice to attaining right concentration, there are 9 abiding minds, 9 stages in the practicing of the abiding mind. 1. Inward abiding. The minds of ordinary people are always scattered, directed toward external things, a state that the confusion called the mind let loose. This state of analogies to chicken and dogs that will not return home after being let loose. Practicing cessation means to collect this dispersed mind and make it abide on an internal object of focus without letting it run toward external things. Number 2, continuous abiding. When the mind initially becomes collected, it continues to bark like a horse unwilling to surrender. After one practices for a long time, the active mind slows down more or less and then abides continuously in an internal state without being scattered. 3. Calm abiding. At this stage, although the mind is said to abide continuously, it still momentarily forgets to be mindful and becomes scattered. However, the practice that have led to this stage have trained one to immediately detect the forgetfulness of scatteredness. of the mind as soon as it happens. This task one can collect the mind in order to return to the object of focus. Only at this stage can the mind be described as calm and settled. 4. Abiding nearby. This stage marks the continued progress of one's effort. Now one succeeds in not forgetting mindfulness and avoids being scattered. When such things are about to happen, one realizes it and can subdue the distraction before it occurs. Thus, the mind calmly abides on the object of focus and does not become dispersed. That is why the stage is called abiding nearby.
Okay, thank you so much. So we digest this 4 paragraphs first. Okay, so class, let's take a look. Here we call night abiding mind. Okay, in the very beginning, the first stage, you see a class, for example, this is our breath in and out. Okay, so this is a touching point, you see. So we know the breath in and out, but in the very beginning, even though we know the breath in, out, but the mind is stopped here. So in the stage number 1, it's just letting the duck and the dog out, and they will come back. Meaning the mind is totally scattered. It's the stage number 1. Okay. Then we go to after some training, we start the stage number 2, meaning to say that, okay, the breath in, out, okay, then the mind it still want to go out, but it can settle down a little bit. So it's the stage number 2. Okay. Then when it's go to stage number 3, you're quite mindful already. So sometimes the mind, you see, the breath in, breath out, breath in, breath out, then you might start to go out. But you will start to be alert after a few moments. Then you realize that, my mind is already, so you just bring it back. This is the reason why counting is quite necessary for the very beginning. Because when you count 1 to 10, if you count wrong, okay, you count until 11, 12, or you count until 3, 4, 5, then we forget. So meaning to say your mind is already, you are mindless already. So this is why counting is very important, especially for the stage 1, 2, and 3. You need to do the counting, okay. But once you go to stage number 4, meaning to say that you see the breath in, out, okay. Once the mind start to go out, immediately you alert already, then you bring it back. You alert, you bring it back. Basically, the feeling of joy is beginning in this stage. Meaning to say that once the mind bring back, the joy will be there together with you. So if you work harder a little bit, the mind totally don't have any opportunity to go out. So the jhana will be very strong and will be always goes together with you. I mean the joy, it's not the jhana yet. That is the joy. Okay. So this is the 4th stage. We mentioned here. Now we go to the stage number 5. Let's take a look. You see, number 1, we call it as an inward abiding. You see, you let it go and won't come back anymore. Continuous abiding meaning to say that it slow down a little bit. Calm abiding meaning to say you just have a momentary forget only, momentary only. But if you go to the abiding nearby, there's no forgetting mindfulness. Totally, it won't occur. You realize that before it goes out. Okay, so we start number 5. Okay, who's turn to read? Harmonize the binding, please.
Harmonize the binding. The 5 desires for form, sound, odor, taste, tangible things, and the 3 poisons, greed, anger, and ignorance, and the 2 types of person, males and females, are the 10 objects that cause the mind to be scattered. When the mind is in equanimity and has definite knowledge of virtues of concentration, one realizes the faults of desire. So using stillness to subdue desires, the mind becomes gentle and harmonized and no longer tempted by these 10 objects. Quietude. The 10 objects are chiefly temptations of the external environment. This is also unwholesomeness coming from one's own mind. Attachment to one's country, relatives, immorality, desire, anger, harm to others, and so forth. There are also 5 hindrances: greed, anger, sleepiness, restlessness, and doubt. All these can be subdued by tranquil concentration. Such concentration cannot be disturbed and the mind becomes quiet. This quietness is like the silent serenity in the middle of the night, but it's not the extinction of nirvana. Supreme quietude. The preceding quietude is achieved by subduing the various attachments that arise at times. At this more advanced stage, as soon as the attachments arise, one immediately dispels and eliminates them. The first 4 abiding minds are the stages of abiding calmly on the object of focus. But once practice cessation and achieves concentration, primarily for the purpose of departing from unwholesomeness such as desire. Once the power of concentration has become stronger in the 5th to the 7th stages, one is at the point of subduing afflictions. Only when the mind is quiet only when the mind is quiet and pure can one proceed towards right concentration. Single-pointed concentration. At this point, the mind is able to abide calmly and not be disturbed by internal and external bad elements. One has reached the stage of keeping the mind even and straightforward. From here, one can diligently concentrate one's mind on a single object continuously. Maintaining equanimity. This is more advanced single-pointed concentration. With both skillful effort and without the need for more effort, one takes no action, let the mind operate naturally and continuously abide without scatteredness. Having practiced cessation up to this stage, one is close to attaining concentration. The methods for practicing concentration vary, as does the time required to achieve it. Although the binding mind is caught in various ways, the complete course of skillfully practicing cessation from the initial step of collecting the mind to accomplishing right concentration coincides with this doctrine of the 9 abiding minds. Those who practice
no, finish. Please finish.
little bit more.
Yeah.
Those who practice cessation should follow this skillful course and recognize the stages of progress. Doing so will keep them from arrogance, which could impede their progress.
Okay, thank you so much.
Welcome.
Yeah. Okay. Sally, have you read this paragraph, Sally? Yes or no? You have read it, okay. Okay, class, take a look. So just now we already finished the first 5. Okay, harmonize the binding. Number 4 we finished. So just now we talk about once we do the anapanasati. You see the breath in out. I want the minds before go out, we alert already. So we don't let it go out. But this is the stage 4 only. One is go to the stage 5. Meaning to say that your mind is still in the concentration state, but more defilement have been tackled by you. Let's see one by one now. You see, if you'll be in the stage number 5, harmonize the binding, 10 object won't come up. It wouldn't have appeared to you. The 10 object means the 5 desire, the 3 poison, male and female. So at this stage, I'm meaning to say your mind's always no longer tamed by this 10 object. See or not? Basically, if your mind no more tempted by the 10 object, you must enjoy some joyful in the jhana. Why? Because our mind is very practical one. You see how? Okay, if here, this is the local durian. Okay, so this is D12. This is the Musang King. You should eat which one in the first place? Elena, which one you should eat first, you think? Local, D12, and Musang King? All must be.
I go local first.
What?
I go local first.
Why you eat local first, but you don't eat the Musang King first?
Because the Musang King taste is very strong. So I think the mild one is getting stronger and stronger.
Yeah. You see, Elena, actually Musang King is considered the best taste. You see, if your tongue already used to the best taste, then you want to downgrade it to the local durian. You can adapt to it. So some people they eat or maybe they try to taste the coffee or whatever, must be from the low grade, go to the upgrade. Because if you used to the upper grade, the premium one, you don't want to taste the lower grade one, the ordinary one. It's something like that. Our heart is the same in no class. If our heart already tastes the joyful from the jhana, it doesn't want our sensuous joy one. This is the reason why it's very important for people to get rid of the addiction, because our addiction is mainly it's the attachment to our sensual realm. What you say? But if you really have tried the meditation, you experience the joy in the jhana. It's very easy for you to get rid of the addiction for the 5 desire. So the theory is the same. Our heart is very practical. Once he try, the more subtle, the more refined joy, it doesn't want, the cost one. It doesn't want the low grade one. He will keep on one to enjoy one. So this is the motivation for the meditator. So they keep on want to meditate further and further, and they start to lose the interest from the sensual desire. That's the reason why. Sally, has it happened to you? Do you feel something like that? Happened to you? How about Elena? Yes, but cannot let go traveling. Traveling is the last attachment cannot let go. Basically, we must have the last one. Basically, we got one. We don't know why, or maybe past life karma. You must got at least one usually. I heard about for Mother Teresa, he can let go many things, but just one thing she cannot let go is the Govita chocolate. I read the article. It said Mother Teresa cannot let go. This is the last attachment for her. It's very funny. Okay. So let's continue. It's number 5. Then we go to number 6. Is the quietude. quietude, we will totally get rid of the 5 hindrances, you see, and the mind will be in a tranquil concentration. But this is not Nibbana yet. Okay, why this is so important? Because class, if you without study, you just do the meditation, you may mistakenly deem what you experience is the Nibbana, but you don't realize actually it still is a jhana. So that's why if without a teacher guidance, you must have a proper study first before you do the meditation. Next, let's take a look. You see, number 7 is a supreme quietude. From here, when you go to supreme quietude, as long as attachment arises, immediately you dispel it. So you can experience a supreme quietude. You see how. And number 8 is a single point concentration. So at this stage, meaning to say internal, external, bad elements totally won't appear anymore. You are only single mind only at this time. And your mind is never let go. You see. But of course, here you still have to pay a little bit effort. But you go to number 9, it's a maintaining equanimity. This is the more advanced. So you just naturally only. So at this stage, even though you don't put effort, the mind is always the concentration, and you are about to reach to the first jhana after the stage number 9. So I give you 1 minute or maybe 30 seconds. Plus, you try to check which stages you have reached before. Can you check it now? Until which stage you can reach? Please check one by one. Okay. If you finish, please raise hand by Zoom. Yeah, Mr. Leong finished. Okay. Yeah, Sally finished. Yes.
Elena don't know.
How what?
I don't know.
You don't know?
Which point?
Oh, no. I mean, you check one by one because of which one you have experienced before you know what.
I'm quite blank.
Quite blank due to the vaccine.
Don't know. I'm very sleepy.
Okay, never mind. Okay, you check later on. So after all the side effect gone, then you check also you know, oh, where is my progress? That will be fine. So you know where to start. This is a very important checklist. Meaning to say that we meditate, we don't confuse, and we will keep us away of arrogance. Why arrogance? Because due to ignorance. You thought, oh, you are very high, but actually you're still in certain stages only. Okay. So Sally, for you, you think until which one you experience, Sally? Number 4. Number 4. Okay. Okay. Never mind. At least we know a certain stage. How about Mr. Leong? Which one you think you reached before, you experienced before?
Yeah, very difficult to say, Sifu. Sometimes I know, sometimes not real.
Yeah, meaning to say that the standard is not stable. The standard is not stable.
Not stable.
Never mind.
Stable.
So next time, Mr. Leong said, after the meditate, please go back here and check, see which one you are. Because if you go to the stage number 9, you are approximately in the first jhana already. That is the transparency of the nimitta and a very stable nimitta at that time already. Quite sure one. All methods are basically to go through this nice stage abiding mind. Okay. Yeah, Mrs. Leong,
Sifu.
Yes.
Number 8.
Number 8. Wow. Applaud. Oh, very good. Very decisive. Yes. Any question, Mr. Leong?
Yeah, Sifu, this number 8, one pointedness, this is Ekagata, right?
Yes, Ekagata, yes. But number 8, you still have put a little bit effort. Number 9, totally no effort. Okay. But you have to check. You see, number 5 to number 7, meaning to say all the 5 hindrances gone already, you know. No more hindrances, you see. And number 5 to number, starting from number 5, all negative elements, all the 5 hindrances, all gone already, you see. Okay, get it?
Okay.
Okay. Okay.